All right, it's 6:30. We'll call the meeting to order. If we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any additions to the agenda tonight?
I just have, on number 9, July 12th, to reschedule a commission meeting. That's what I found, like, I wasn't aware of it.
Any discussion?
I also have a really addition of, the resolution approving election judges for the primary elections. And it is with a copy of that.
All right, we can make that A2.
Number 5 or 6?
Oh, I'm 6, I'm sorry. 6A2, resolution for appointing election judges. Any other additions?
We have to make a motion to add that? The help thing? Oh,
Unless you want it on the public comment.
well, it's probably too long for public comment,
Yep.
so I'll make a motion to add the discussion on the, what do you wanna call it, the health zoning.
Zoning violation.
Zoning violation, yep.
All right, we can make that 6A3.
Well, I made a motion, so now you gotta follow through, right?
Well, we're still adding to the agenda right now.
Okay. I thought maybe just that I had to make a motion.
Well, we'll add it, and then we'll make a motion with the 2 additions.
Okay. Resolution and health.
So that'll be 6A3, Hope property, driveway violation.
Okay.
All right, any other additions? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of resolution for appointing election judge and health property violation.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we will open for public comments. If there is anyone who would like to discuss anything that is not on the agenda tonight, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close public comments. Is there anything on the consent agenda that needs to be pulled for further discussion?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
On the claim register, page 1, down at the bottom, Greater Minnesota Communications, is that correct, that those sets of doubles? There is. So June utility billing, 2 sets of print binding, and 2 sets of postage.
So,
Oh,
they're
line
different.
item.
The 620 and then the 640. One is water and one is sewer, and we always just use sewer.
That's why there's 2 sets. All right, I guess I've not noticed that before.
Any other questions?
And then, did you attend a class or something, Maggie? What's your mileage?
It's mileage for the first half of the year, I went to St. Cloud for the conference, and then there's also another miscellaneous.
So you just added it all together,
Yeah.
like, at 6 months and 6 months? Cool. That's all I had.
All right. Look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That will take us to 6A1. one, Tour de Tonka.
Mayor and council, we want to
Exciting.
coming
Every year, so exciting.
Yeah, I have your packet. Well, I'll put it in the,
Oh, you guys are so organized. Thank you. Well, good evening, and thank you for having me here, and thank you for having Tour de Tonka as an event come through Mayor again this year, Saturday, August 4th, coming up real fast. As where did June go? It rained on us the whole month, and it's gone, and so now we're looking forward to this beautiful sun, and hopefully it'll continue that way. So, again, thank you. Tour de Tonka thanks you for allowing us to come through your wonderful community on Saturday, August 4th, and here's a little bit about what you might see and expect. I'll go backward and forward a little bit inside of each presentation here, but here's a little bit of Tour de Tonka by the numbers. This year, 24 cities is what we'll ride through, so there's that number. 42 represents the number of states that have participated. Someone's cheating on the presentation over here, so he already knows it all, which is good. He's a bike rider in the front row, I can tell. So, 42 states have participated in just 12 years of the event, which is something we had no idea would happen when I was putting this together before year one. But it's really become a destination for a lot of the riders around the country, and that's kind of cool. And we'll show you who some of those naysayer states are in a little bit. 88 just jumping up. That's the oldest rider that we've ever had ride. Last year, an 88-year-old gentleman rode the 16-mile ride. 108 is the number of cities and agencies that we collaborate with to make sure it happens. Of course, Mayor being one of those 108. 616, the number of volunteers that it took to put this thing on last year. It is a major effort, and it's worked on now all year, and of course that is something I did not envision in year one. 11,954 is the amount of money we spent on food last year at the rest stops. So come hungry and you'll go away full, and that's okay. There's many rest stops, and I'll show you those here in a little bit, and you've seen them on your presentation. 22,000 represents the amount of money we spent on safety last year, PD, etc. So we want to make sure it's a safe event, and so far it has been, and we'll make sure it continues that way. And we need the riders to cooperate, and they have. So if you move forward, that'd be great. Here's a shirt you can get if you volunteer this year. Anybody out there wanting to volunteer, watching this telecast, tourdetonka.org will get you there if you want to ride or volunteer. There's a phone number as well. You get a great shirt, and you get a cap as well. Keep going. Thank you. Here's the distances that were held last year, all 7 of these. And last year, the 100-mile, which is on the bottom right, would show over 700 riders, and that's how many came through Mayor last year, 773 riders. So you saw a lot of action just right downtown. This year we do a little bit different exit out of Mayor. We'll come from the same direction, but then we're going to take a right on 30 and head toward New Germany on a nice new road. Then we can stay off of 25, a little safer for the riders and the volunteers alike. Last year they came from 166 different communities, 40 counties in the state of Minnesota, 25 states, and then 2 countries beyond the United States. So that's where riders came from last year. And next slide will show you where the riders came from last year just in the continental United States. So they were spread out pretty good. And that's just last year's riders, the good states, the yellow states. And now we'll get to the antis in the next slide. And so if you know anybody out there from one of these naysayer states, we'll bring them in, but we might make fun of them along the way. But anyway, that's a little bit of that. We track riders from every town, no matter where they are. And last year, because I have Mayor on here, you had 3 riders from Mayor. So congrats to those 3, and maybe this gentleman in the front row who's studying the routes is one of them. I'm not sure. Or we'll get him this year. And then you see the top 40 as well as you go through the lineup. Demographically, it's been pretty much dominated by the 30 to 50-year-old demographic, now 30 to 60-year-old as they age a little bit. And it's been a male-dominated event, but we're growing really in both genders and in all ages. Last year we had a 4-year-old ride it, and that little guy did 16 miles without training wheels. So we applauded his efforts, and that was kind of fun as well. We raised money for the ICA Food Shelf, which is the next slide there, as well as some youth programming. And then, of course, we pay for all the support and help that comes our way, and we're very grateful for all of that. And you forward if you would please. These are the cities that we go through this year, and you can see Mayor on the list as well as all your neighboring towns around you, and we're thankful for their support as well. And if you're on the west side of Minneapolis, pretty much on Saturday, August 4th, you're going to interact with Tour de Tonka, whether it's a volunteer effort or a rider or a PD in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully it's a good interaction. And we want it to be. It's a ride, not a race. Police and fire the same. Carver County Sheriffs support you. They support us as well. We pay for that effort, and they do a great job. And a couple of different law enforcement folks in action there. This year we added an 8th distance. We added a 36-mile ride to kind of spread them out a little bit. The 100s, we can continue to take riders there because they just go and they're gone. They take the big loop around. But in the middle there, the 30 and the 48, that's pretty thick, so we put a 36 in the middle of that, hopefully to spread them out. And so far with early registration, that's working. And with early registration, we're right now at the highest that we've ever been in our 13-year history. So I don't know if that'll continue that way, and no one does, but right now it's a good sign for a good ride on Saturday, August 4th. And here's a one map, do-it-all kind of a thing that shows you where we go. And throughout Carver County, it's called Tour de Tonka. You could really call it Tour de Carver County because it is throughout Carver County, Hennepin County, and then we do a little blip up in the Wright County into Delano as well. But it's pretty thick on the west side, as you can tell. Rest stops everywhere. Rest stops are full of food, full of music as well. There are, I think, 13 bands and, 7, 8 DJs already that'll be there for that event. So it's a fun day. It's an event. It's an atmosphere kind of a program. Next slide. We'll show you where the rest stops are, and they surround you. It's hard. We tried to put one in Mayor because your previous mayor had asked us, and it's just right now it's not the way it's going to work, but it's out there for us. Someday we'd like to have a rest stop here, but right now it's not that way. Sponsorship, of course, any event that anyone here locally does that comes along with good sponsors, and this event is no different than that. We thank these great people for being a part. And then at the end, a little bit of perhaps some pictures for the event. T-shirt artwork. There's the rider shirt this year. We tossed a bunch of art at it, so it looks a little different than it has in the past. I mentioned a gift there for all riders and volunteers in the crowd that may want to volunteer. We'll take care of you in every way. And last year, a little young man on a unicycle rode 16 miles. So congratulations to him. I don't know his name or where he came from. Well, we have a picture of him. That was it. And there's some more cool event pictures from the day, and you can see a little guy right there in the front row. It's full of families. It really is. It's a family event. The 16 and the 30-mile ride are tons of families. And the last couple of years, we've had several 11-year-olds that have ridden 100 miles. So even coming through Mayor here, you won't see all 30, 40, and 50-year-olds. You're going to see a blend. It's kind of cool. Saturday, August 4th comes right through Mayor, and we're thankful for you and for what you do for us. And hopefully we're good partners because we want to be.
Absolutely. We're definitely excited to have you come through Mayor again. It's been great. It's been a great event.
Anybody get out and watch them or get out and see them?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a blur probably as they stream
event,
through.
Yeah.
How many groups, I guess, come through Mayor? It's 100?
It's just the 100 miles. Yeah, so just one group, but last year there were 774 or something of them. So a lot of riders. And predominantly, or let me think about the time-wise, I think you'll see them probably between 9 and noon right here through Mayor. Might be pushing 12:30, but right in there, that's the wheelhouse coming through Mayor. Good.
Great. Well,
Thank you, city staff, for working with us and working with Alexis, and appreciate that. And, of course, city council for your efforts.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
in, Tim.
Have a good rest of the meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then
Bye-bye.
we usually get it on the sign, too. There's a Tour de Tonka thing.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Be his pace car.
All right. That will take us to 6A2, resolution appointing election judges. That was in our packet, it just wasn't on the agenda. So I believe everyone's had a chance.
We did get one more, rescue those counties, so we were able to,
wonky.
So we'll get that fixed, but he will still be on. But this one is just appointing primary election.
Perfect. All right, we'll look for a motion to approve resolution 7-9-18-19, appointing 2018 primary election judges.
Make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That will now take us to 6A3, health property driveway.
So I don't know if you want me to start,
Yeah, I think you should give an overview of it.
yeah, I'll kind of give an overview. So what happened is I believe it was in early June, we received notification that there was rock, fresh rock that was laid down on the property at 224th Street Northeast. We did write a letter saying we were concerned about non-compliance. Usually we require a permit for any improvements that are made, to properties, even, fresh rock, in a large capacity. So we did have the homeowner submit an application with improvements that were made or showing where the improvements were made. And I did gather some information quickly and this is where the rock was laid. Upon review from our city planner, the property was found out of compliance completely. It is considered an improved surface. And so, all driveways and parking areas, that must be paved or surfaces are human considered for pavers. That was in the, we just did an amendment to the ordinance, that was part of the ordinance before this change. So it's always been that driveways had to be in human considered for pavers. The driveway should only be a maximum of 30 feet wide, measured at the property line, so this actually puts it above that. I think it extends, it extends quite a bit further out. It is wider than the 30 feet. And it also, it does, the city planner notified that the surface was over the 35% site area. He's considering that impervious surface that was improved. So he did say that he felt that it was over the 35% site coverage, which is not accepted. And so we did write a letter that required corrective action, to come in compliance with the code. And we did notice that the resident was parking a vehicle, a recreational vehicle on site, which is on that status and is allowed as well. And so either we recommended that it either be taken out or, the resident has the ability to appeal, stating that they are in compliance with the code. And, or a variance to the three items he requested. And so that's kind of where we're at today. I have talked with, the property owner. There was some interest in a variance, but I don't know if that's where we're at right now, but, I think it's just kind of a discussion. I believe that what we're gonna do moving forward. Staff is still pretty adamant that that is out of compliance and needs to be, the ordinance needs to be met, but, that's just our side of the facts, that we're seeing. So I know that the property owner is here tonight to speak as well, and so I think it's gonna be.
So has an appeal been submitted?
No.
Maggie, you said that, John said that he is considering the red rock an impervious surface.
It's an improved surface. So it's
Improved or impervious?
It is impervious, but it's considered,
Okay.
according to John, an improved surface that counts towards lot coverage. And so, I would have gotten clarification from John, and I can, but according to his review, it is, he's considering it improved surface, which puts them over the 35% max that they are allowed on that site. And also, this property has requested a variance in the past, and I guess there's concern over that variance was given to eliminate or alleviate parking in the past, and so this new surface, well, one wouldn't be able to use the parking because it's not an approved surface, and two, I mean, according to our new code that we just passed, I don't believe you can park a vehicle in that location.
So, for me, some of the problem with adding this on the agenda for today is I know very little about this. I mean, I've talked to Maggie, I have some information. I can't take action on, I don't know the background, if we have all the information from when the variance for the garage was done, for what it, we need pictures of what it was like, what's it looking like, what's being parked there. We haven't had a chance to look at any of this. Now, if Chad's here, or the homeowner's here, for the appeals process, it seems to me the appeal should be a written appeal. Then it comes to council or a work session and discuss it with our planner here and work through it systematically that way, is my thoughts on it, but,
Because I'd like to mention that the last 2 years, there's been a 20 by 14 pad of rock, illegal or not. It's been there, nobody's ever
Chad,
said a word.
if you don't mind coming up to the podium, and if you could, just for the record, your name and address.
Chad Helt, 220 4th Street Northeast,
Thanks, Chad.
The last 2 years or more, there's been a 20 by 14 pad there of rock, and I didn't know whether I was in compliance or not. Nobody's ever said anything, nor on the permit application does it mention the Hunterbrink addition, nor does it mention rock as an improved surface to even apply for. So, I guess I'm very confused. When we built the shop, the reason the patio in the back of the shop is pavers is 10 years ago when we built that, they claimed our ground coverage was getting close, and we knew that. However, they said if we use pavers, that's a pervious surface and does not count against lot coverage. Well, I don't know, Luann was here and whoever was on council at that time, I'm sure we can get the paperwork for you. But that's why that patio is pavers. And I've even spoke to Carver County Soil and Water, and they don't consider rock an impervious surface. And or pavers.
What's your intention?
It's just to park a camper on, to be in compliance with the city of not parking on the grass.
But it's not an approved surface that it's, and I understand that.
The 90-plus others that are in violation
Yes,
of it.
I understand that, and I've only been here 10 months, and I'm the one that's supposed to make sure the code's being followed, and we need to start somewhere. If we need to, if we continue to not follow our code, then it has to be done.
I understand that, and I agree with you totally. However, your ruling on rock is incorrect as an impervious surface.
That is,
Well-
according, this is the, I have to go back to the plan, and this is the analysis that was given.
Well, that's what I mean, I'm down to a week to come in compliance with the city, to remove 18 tons of rock.
Right.
So I guess I need to know where I'm at here. I don't wanna get letters and certifieds and bills and things and
Well,
fines.
if he was to appeal, we're not gonna make him do anything until after the appeal, correct?
Well, we wouldn't, but it's like if you write an appeal, you're stating that you don't feel that you're, that
And you're correct in saying that. I don't feel I'm out of compliance.
Mhm.
And I think that would
I think that's the appropriate way to do it then, is to file an appeal.
Okay, and that's
And then-
just a written appeal then?
Yeah, I think you'd appeal and for your reasons why you disagree with the letter, and then I think we goes to planning or whatever the correct procedure is at that point, or if it comes back to council or planning works through it.
Yeah, the planning thing.
Yeah, I think, appeal would come to the council.
It would be council, if you go through the variance process, that would be a whole process.
Well, and see, and I'm not against the variance process, however, with it being rock and it is a pervious surface, I'm, like I said, I'm not against paying the $300 for the variance. However, the wording and the lingo is not correct.
If you're changing those to use in the parking lot, like
I mean,
that's like, no, like, I would say that that's, huh?
I mean,
You can't park in the street, no, but you also, like,
And we can work,
the reason why we have the code is that and the code has always been that it has to be hard surface, that is not rock.
I think we work through that on the appeals process. I mean, if they put down why they disagree with it, I think we have to work through it that way. To have this now in front of us when, I don't know if
and I'd agree with
not
Mike.
everyone
I
in
mean,
council's heard.
You don't have all the information in
Yeah,
front of you,
I
you
think
haven't
we-
seen everything, I understand.
And we need the planner here to help with that. I mean, we need our code and however our code's worded, if it's agreed or disagreed, or Carver County looks at it different, it's still our code.
Exactly.
It's still the way, I mean, so we need that in front of us, we need other stuff. So my preference would be, let the appeals process go through, and if we need a motion today, Maggie, or just some discussion that, I understand the 30 days on the memo, but we, extend some time for the appeals. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Well, yeah, 'cause it says I have 60 days to appeal,
Yeah.
but 30 days to remove it.
Yeah, I
That
saw
doesn't
that.
really make sense.
So, I don't think we need a motion for that.
So
Even
now,
to-
I can just bring a written appeal up here,
Yep.
she'll handle it.
Yep, email
Send it
it,
to the
yep,
council.
email it or hand deliver it, either one.
Okay. And
You
then
know,
how
kind of
long?
stating why you, and then we'll get it on the next council, I'm
Okay.
assuming. If it's on the next council and you do it in that time, then we can have our planner here also.
And
um,
I'll need to be present,
yeah,
I'm assuming, for the
yeah,
next
yeah.
council.
And we'll get you on the agenda, and then Maggie will have your email, she'll send you the agenda, so you confirm that it's on there.
Okay.
I would prefer to do it that way if
I'm
everyone's
fine
fine
with that.
tabling this for, until we receive the appeal. Then, so do we need a motion to table, Maggie?
I would, yeah, I would say there's a motion to, yes, take this.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table this item until an appeal is submitted and council can then review it at a upcoming council meeting.
Agreed.
That's the motion, do we have a second? We have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect, yep, thank you. Then Maggie will be in touch, Chad.
Thank you.
All right, that will move us to 6B1, Public Works full-time position.
And also, the road is kind of in our discussion for public works position. Part of that, we did include a statement of the, software and the street and the street, the park and the release of the training equipment, and the basic requirements that we were looking for, with an hourly wage right now, we have, probably myself,
Wait, so why can't the personnel committee, review the applications and then present whichever, is there conflicts of interest within the personnel committee?
I know one of the applicants,
Okay,
and I have a personal opinion.
and
so,
because of that, we cannot have,
so in the past, we've had Kyle, Greg, the personnel committee, pick the applicants, and then as a full council will interview.
So they narrow, that's what we're looking for, is how to keep moving quickly and swiftly on this. Do we wanna narrow it down to 3 or 4 top candidates, and who do we want to do that? Do we want it just staff
Okay.
along with Greg, or do we want personnel committee involved in that, which then may take, to get that scheduled, may take a little, we're
Okay,
looking,
so is
how
that
do we
what
wanna
you're
move
saying?
swift?
I think, yeah, like, there's a
Okay.
conflict.
And
So we're
if we
trying to put
decide-
together a group besides the personnel committee to
Perfect.
Unless it's decided, staff, along with Public Works and along with, possibly Greg Kluber, they narrow it down themselves. I mean, however we wanna do it to keep this moving swiftly.
And I have faith in staff and public works to narrow it down, do the interview and the best candidate, because when it comes to public works, I don't know the ins and outs like you do. So, I just reacting to the questions and that's right, and giving an answer, so.
So, yeah, I would like to see a group of qualified people, pick 3 or 4 applicants, and then we interview as the council. Pretty much that's how we hire all of our full-time. So are you asking?
Yeah, but during the interviews, we were all here along with you. Yep.
We had a list of 3 done questions, and we just went along the room and
Yep.
answered the question.
And we can use those same questions, I guess.
So I'm-
Yeah.
I'm fine continuing that way. I'm fine with staff. Staff, Greg, if he's available, and Kyle narrowing it down to 3 or 4 candidates, the top candidates, and then we go from there. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
And then,
So do we need a motion for that maybe, like to pick the people that are going to be on this committee to choose the applicants?
Unless you're, you're okay with staff,
Mhm.
like, if you're fine with, you, Kyle, Greg,
Okay, I am.
and then there's myself for the final committee.
Yep.
Yeah.
when it's narrowed down, then let's try to move fairly quick on that and get those set up as quick as we can. All right.
We did them all in one night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
And for the others,
if you go to 4, if we go to 4, it might have to be 2 nights. If 4, maybe we could do in 1 night.
Maybe 4, you don't like 4.
If it's
If there's only 3 that you really think
Yeah.
qualify, then, just,
For this round of interviews, then Greg, you always did it in Octave, but having kind of a skills challenge kind of set up, I gotta work with that down a little bit. Just having, a floater out here with a thing of rock, make sure they don't want to drive the skid loader and stuff. Kind of what I'm thinking.
I thought that was like a second interview thing.
Could be a second interview thing, I don't know, I'm gonna talk it over with Maggie.
Yeah.
And my question with that is there a liability in that?
There is a liability and there's, use that for prior to doing that. But I wanna make sure that they can say they know how to operate equipment.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I'll look for a motion then to have staff narrow, the public works applicants down to 3 or 4 top qualified candidates.
You're
We have a motion, do we have a second?
second.
We have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. All right. Council reports. Eric, anything to report on? Tice?
Oh, well, the Rising Community Festival is pig.
That'll be Saturday, right?
Is it this Saturday?
Yeah.
It has to be here. Yeah, so they're still looking for volunteers, stuff like that.
They are.
To do what kind of things? Park cars, stand by the bounce houses. So far, we haven't heard much back from
Who do we contact?
Scott or Zach Stifter, Tom Stifter.
Okay. All right. Anything else to report on? Liz, any reports? Nikki? And I have none myself. It feels like with the holidays, there's a lot going on, so. We have upcoming events in front of us. Any other information, Maggie, to share?
Just a, yes, a correction to the meeting, it was supposed to be signed, scheduled up.
Yep. Perfect, okay. All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Move.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. So, with that going fairly quick, let's just jump right into the work session. We'll call the work session to order. Item number 3, IT services with Techstar.
Okay, so I have a note here from Techstar. So my goal with this tonight is just to discuss, a monthly IT maintenance plan. Right now we're using more of an annual plan for maintenance. But I kind of last week, I had Techstar actually come out and do an audit of our school system and information, with more to what we found. But I know this was back in 2017 when we were implementing the phone system, so that's why I'm seeing this one just having, somebody come in on a monthly basis and monitor how things are going and whether it's backing up sufficiently and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just wanted Techstar or Nate here to kind of talk about the audit a little bit, what we found, where we're lacking, and what we can do, what they're proposing, what I'm proposing moving forward.
Okay.
I didn't, I didn't get
I can share some of the overviews of it. So one of the things to kind of keep in mind, we came out and looked at your network. We've done a couple of things from time to time when there's been some network support questions or issues. And one of the things that came up in the last audit was there's just a lack of attention to a lot of the day-to-day details from updates, licensing, security, firmware updates on some of the equipment, age and documentation of stuff on the network. With today's information and stuff that's passing back and forth, security is kind of utmost importance. And the only way to really maintain that is to have it managed at some level. So we sent over proposals, I think, with a couple different options. At our base level, we do break fix, which is we show up when you guys call.
Yeah.
There's no maintenance involved in that. That's just there's a fire, you call, we respond. The base level contract that we sent over the description for was really to kind of help take care of the core assets in the day-to-day use. So think of it kind of 2 levels, base level and premium level. At the base level, we take care of everything that we really feel has to be addressed. So it's your firewall, it's the switches, it's all of the network infrastructure. And we often get the question, can't we just have somebody internally kind of watch that stuff and update it as necessary? What happens is it doesn't happen. Even if you have a in-house single person, the attention to the detail tends to be a little less. We have a team of people. Everybody's kind of got specialties. We all work on different parts. We have help desk available during the day. We have after-hour support available when needed. The idea is to make sure that stuff is being updated, backed up, secured, patched, and that the firewall policies and procedures are being put into place. What happens a lot of times is we put those policies and those procedures into place, but without a managed contract, we're kind of at odds with each other as a provider and a client. If I block things from your network to make it more secure, you don't have any way to get them unblocked when you need to get to them, it creates this inconvenience, and you feel like, we don't want this, just unlock it. And we're going, okay, but that's not a great idea. So under management, we have that support available, because it is the right thing to do, is to lock down access. We dealt with a client today that was having bandwidth issues, but, the majority of the bandwidth is going to Netflix, Hulu, and to music streaming services. So, we can see that kind of stuff, we can watch it, we can help re-guide traffic, that kind of stuff. But from the audit internally, we noticed that backups weren't being done, patching wasn't being done, the security steps on the firewall aren't being taken. That's not uncommon. It's just something that doesn't happen if you're not managed. So. Right now, when everybody joins the network, everybody joins the same basic network. There's two ways to get into the network, but it's kind of going to the same spot. We tend to separate as much traffic as possible. We do work for cities, with Rome and a number of other ones. Some of the other ones are great fix, some of the smaller ones are farther. But security and separation of division of stuff is kind of crucial. So
I think it seems that's the way we should be going, but again, I don't have anything in front of me to know what this is going to cost, what the monthly costs are. What are we paying now month versus what a managed contract, if it's a matter of a couple $100, because we're already paying so much a month, but I don't have it. Yeah. And that's where I'm going with that. In the last 6 months, we've spent $5,000 by calling them out, and we could be on a plan and spending $5,500. It seems worth.
Yeah, and we do have issues with the sustainability of that we can come on. And I think our goal too is to go for digital documentation, if we don't feel like our system will be.
I feel like at this point you have a little bit of a struggle just internally trying to get those documents effectively moved around.
If that's still a goal, I would say, yes, we need to, in order to do digitalization of our records, we need to definitely get. Right now, it's just, I can't put a number on what we're spending because it's really, it varies, and sometimes we don't even call, because we're like, oh, we're trying to figure it out, but we don't know how to actually either, because we get pop-ups, we get things that aren't working. So we'll put in, it's just kind of what we say.
So a lot of times what we see, and it's not a whole lot different here from the times that I've looked at some of the calls that came up, is when we don't have a contract in place, we defer it, we put it off, we don't put in the tickets, we don't ask for support, we don't ask for help. When we finally do put that call in, there's no documentation, we don't know what we're walking into, we don't know how long this problem has been kind of festering throughout the network. We don't know all the pieces that led up to it, so sometimes the repair, and oftentimes just in the interest of the client, and let's keep the cost as low as we can, we just need to get back up and running. We're not doing what's right, we're doing what we need to get it back up and running. In a maintenance program, it's not always necessarily about it being the cheaper option, it's about being the predictable option. And having that security and that mindset to know that, the basic things that we need are taken care of, and somebody's bringing to our attention the things on the IT side that we should be paying attention to.
Are you, on this plan that you would want us to be on, I mean, are you managing the firewall, pushing out updates,
Correct.
making sure that all the computers and networks are up to date with the latest? Otherwise, you know, like, right now my computer needs to be updated, and it never finishes. You know, so, because there's not enough room, so I just ignore it.
Yep.
But is that something that,
Yeah, so even in the foundational plan,
that's what you're
that's what's
recommending?
yeah, that's what's
I think that's super
covered.
important, and it's not easy for just, because at our work, we have a firewall, and, you know, emails get blocked, or things like that, sometimes they have to unblock the firewall for it to get through. We have someone monitoring internally, the emails that get blocked.
Yep.
And then, so there could be emails we're not getting ever, because it's sitting somewhere and nobody actually actually gets them.
The other one that comes into play a lot is just the resource, so if you have a question, you have someone to go to. I got this email and I don't know how legit it is. Or we see an email and we can notify the rest of the group fairly quickly that this phishing scam is out there. We see that proliferate through companies quickly, because if one person responds, it's just asking me to log in and verify this. And it's not even asking for my password, it just wants my username. So what it's looking for is to find out if you're a real person. As soon as you get that, then they can hit you with the second one and the third one. So it's that kind of preventative and training and teaching piece, but it's giving the staff the resources so that they can be comfortable and secure and have somebody to reach out to when there's a need.
I certainly think we should be looking at something, you know,
I can resend it to you, and you can share that with the rest of the council. Part of it's the support and the management piece, and some of it's licensing and just costs that you already have. So we kind of list those out, so you kind of see that, so that as you start to build that budgeting idea of where you're going, you know, I mean, here's kind of the cost of managed service, but here's some licensing costs and things like that. You're gonna pay that whether we're in here, somebody else is in here, or you don't go in. And understanding that, I think, is kind of key.
Did you find anything else in the audit? Pretty much the lack of attention to updates.
Yeah, one of the access points was turned off, because somebody needed the port for something else, so it got unplugged and somebody cross-connected some stuff, which affects, I think it was one of the access points in the back end of the building here, but it affected coverage in here. But in trying to test and get coverage through the building, like it's not working right, you know, so we found that, we fixed that day we were out here. A lot of it had to do with passwords, security, and just how we're accessing devices. So,
well, I'm certainly interested in pursuing, I mean, taking a look at some proposal and, trying to get something set up.
You're in budgeting season.
Yeah.
That's the right time to.
It's a good time for it. All right, maybe you want to just continue working, with Nathan and, have something for council?
Connect with me tomorrow, we can detail that.
All right, thanks, Nate, thanks for coming in, appreciate it. All right, budget, goals and schedule.
So, I'm kind of entering the early stages of the 2019 budget already. So, in the packet, there is kind of a preliminary schedule of kind of what I'm looking at, what I would like to be doing at certain points throughout the rest of the year. I also included, on the basis of another city, with the part of town for the field assembly, which I think is very informational about
most covered, obviously sticking with our CIPs and really, even with our new studies we've done and really making sure we're following those and using those.
I know CIP is like will come to I just, my concern is when it gets to schedule,
I think that schedule is awesome. I like seeing that. I like having that out in front. I mean, this is obviously one of our biggest items to work through for the rest of the year now, and I prefer seeing stuff like this. I think this is great.
So, you guys think that, here's my problem with having budgeting meetings the same night as council. If we have a big agenda, and budget meetings are always long and drawn out and detailed, and it just, if it gets past a certain time, I would have rather come here a different night and had a meeting only about the budget.
I listen to that, and that's kind of why I thinking of next year, if there's different preferences, we can definitely split that up.
It's certainly something to keep in mind as we get into some of them, and maybe you'll have a better idea of what we're going to be going over. Sometimes it does make sense just to focus on the budget and spend a couple hours hammering through some of that, but I think you could tweak those dates as we get closer. If, you know, we feel the need for that, because you'll be managing our regular budget, our agendas versus what the discussions will be, so you'll have a better idea, but you know, we do run into making sure everyone can be there, and that sometimes becomes a hassle too, just scheduling, but
We usually find that
we typically can find something that time of year. Since it's not midsummer, but otherwise I don't have anything else right now. I think you've kind of covered most of what I think are some of the priorities and some of the things I'd like to see.
Let's get on it early.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you have it laid out, a good job laying it out, stay on top of it. And
one thing I just wanna see is when we're looking at that, our budget this year and where we're at, 'cause that's kind of how we look at things, like what you said. I'd like to see what our budget was, what we've already spent, but I'd like to know what is already going to be spent, you know, like the police contract, we know we're gonna spend the full budget. Does that make sense? It's just, half of it's already been paid out, we don't pay the other half in November, so it's not gonna show it fully, but like, maybe a comment in there that says this is fully, you know, or some public works stuff where it's like, we haven't purchased everything yet, it will be done, does that make sense? And then there's some things where it's might have gotten, does that make sense, like what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think right.
maybe there's a projected spend, a projected end-of-year spend. Obviously, the contract will be, we'll know what, I mean, you'll know that, but maybe on some of those where we're not clear, like maybe one of the public works ones, yep, we are gonna be getting these extra pumps and we will be spending the entire thing. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
It just helps me understand where we're at on the budget, 'cause, yeah, we could say, well, we're only 20% spent on the budget, but we'll actually be at 80, there's 20 that could be in flux, and it might move to next. More like, I don't know,
No, I feel what you're saying.
and it's not that easy probably to do that, but some things you just know. With the park board where it's like, we were gonna do an ice rink, and then it just didn't happen, so it's. Or something didn't break and we thought it was and decided not to replace it that year. Right? I mean, that happens too. It just helps me. You know, if I know I'm gonna spend $100 a month on a phone
anything else you need on that, Maggie? Any other comments on budgeting? All right, let's move to number 5, fire department, building assessment information.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring to you just a bit of a review. I know, so we had somebody from the league coming through an assessment walkthrough of the fire department building. And the purpose of the visit was just to kind of look at the building and identify some of the unique issues or hazards. They had positive things to say about, also maintaining space and we have what measures in place, but there were some recommendations stating, the hazards that we see. The biggest, what they do outline is space issues, also as time is under the built as time goes on, things like requirements change, vehicles change, the way that they're done, becoming more aware of contamination, how that affects people, our firefighters themselves, so it's kind of outline where the age of the building, so I think the main goal, was just to highlight, kind of those areas that recognize that there are some concerns, but then, I mean, I think they really well as well. Obviously, some of the things we can't really change, we have space issues, we aren't able to really get that, clearance that we probably should have between vehicles and building walls and other equipment. As you can see, there are some of the factors that.
I thought they did a great job. When I read through it, I this is a lot of what we were looking for, or what I was looking for. And you're right, some things can't change.
Right, I think there's some ventilation concerns, contamination concerns, space issues,
Rod,
kind of.
so have you guys gone through this, down there, and kind of, any of these items are concerning, that you wanna go after, or what were your guys' thoughts down as a fire department? Okay, so nothing there, there's no way to get any exhaust systems put in? Okay. Have you guys looked at it? I mean, okay.
Yeah, so I think the next step would be, okay, we got the review, and this is a really good idea for relaxing, and then I think the next step would be, okay, some of these things
That's what I'm kind of, asking, if they've gone through and kinda.
and just kind of get a cost down, okay, what are the things that we can do, and what are the things that we can't do? And that's really what they are, the way that they're so I think that, we wanted to bring this to you, to kind of give you an idea of what we found, and what the next step would be, okay, what things can we do, and what things can't we do, and what are the costs, and then kind of get an analysis, okay,
me, this was almost, it's just what I was looking for. I thought it was very helpful, I thought they did a good thorough job.
I don't know, do you want to add anything?
The only thing is, comments, made that, this is new to us, and yes, it's probably new to some of you because you haven't been on the council and everything. Back in 2009, we did do a look at a station. It was fixed, we had a architect who fixed it on that lot, and the cars in for restoration. And remember that, and then 2011, I put it in my capital improvement. Every year, I don't, it's obviously sufficient for us, I don't know what happens to it, but someone will pick that lot. 2015, we did another study in regards to, because it was interest in the lot that we had issues with. And we had hired an architect firm to do a study. And we did a study on, we picked 3 different lots out, and there was a committee set up, Kyle was on it, Luann was on it, Jerry Thomas was on it, Bob, Allison, who else was doing it? I was not on it. And they looked at what safety of the lot, cost of the lot, and the 2 lots that we were looking at was present one, or the lot next to the city public works, Casey's, and the lot next to RV. And going through that, there was, everybody picked the lot next to the
The Sherman, the one that we, yeah.
And a couple of things.
Council site was talked about here.
That was just kind of,
So it was determined that was the best spot out of the 3. Yeah.
so it's been, it's gone nowhere.
Maybe, can you find the picture with the lockers, that very, west picture? Rod, when you guys go to a fire, I'm told that everybody's walking in that west door,
Correct.
that west entrance, and you look at your active 911, and then, does anybody get in a truck and pull it out? Right there, see those lockers?
No.
So, there is probably, Kyle, how many feet do you think?
2 feet.
You really should go down there and see that, yeah. And all these lockers are like so much closer than what we even are, and they have to put on this big gear, all this gear, and I said so Kyle and I kind of walked around with Zach after our Rising Community meeting, and I'm like, how do you guys do it? And he said, well, some people just scooch down, whoever gets here first, they're moving down, they're not in front of their lockers, they're trying to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's impossible. You're walking in the door, and it's an impossible situation to get yourself in your gear right off the bat, because there is no room there. Not only in between the truck, but also
those lockers
in between.
that set of lockers.
Those are, extras right now. That we
Well,
have to man
that
out.
was just an example,
Yeah.
but that's
But it's the
exactly
lockers on
like
the
how
other side
close
where
we
the
are.
gamble is.
No, absolutely, there's space issues for sure. I'm just saying that space right there is kind of extra lockers, reserve lockers. Yeah, then there would.
So I wish they would have a picture of the one that I'm talking about, because it's probably even worse than that.
No, there's more space. There's a little more space on the other side. But your point is taken and
There is
is
not
valid.
a lot of
I was part of it, I don't think that I'm not against a new fire station at some point, it's just, we have to figure out when is that time, when is the right time, 'cause it's a big investment, we're talking millions of dollars, it's not, we're not interested in a full shed kind of building like Potato Fire just put in, because you want a building that would be able to withstand a national emergency as a go-to place. So, I don't know if it just hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, we've had some transition here in, as the city administrators. I think this is a good starting point of like all the major things, that need to happen. You know, I don't think anyone's against building one, but building one next year, probably not, but that doesn't mean anything.
That's another issue. There are men and women on the fire department. That's the only bathroom, right?
There's two.
There's two.
There's two bathrooms, men and women.
Men and women.
Oh. Do they work, I don't, they're
You may
bad.
not wanna go in there.
They're bad.
but-
They may not be,
That's an issue right there. I don't think that's in compliance with anything.
No.
Oh, there's the men's, okay.
know that.
So is it dangerous, so when you guys are coming in, is it dangerous for someone to get in the truck and pull it out? Because these guys are trying to get ready, the truck is there, and there's other guys still coming in and crossing behind them, as they're trying to get all their gear on. Because your very first ones are the chief, the assistant chief, they kind of go in order from rank. More of a hazard, because then the truck is sitting. They're getting in all from all over, they're coming in from all over, right, I agree, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, along with those tanks, that is my single biggest fear, is the way that is set up. Everybody piling in that door, and that very first truck is the first one that goes out, and that's where you're trying to get ready. And what if someone is there, they get there later, you got your one crew ready to go out, and that truck goes out, and what if someone does fall, or what if just falling backwards into it could be, I don't know, eye-opening. It was eye-opening.
Right.
And is that entire building all the way on its lot line? Like, is it all the way to the lot line? We can't go anywhere. And can the meeting room be, converted into garage?
For what, we sell it and somebody else wants to buy it?
No,
Make it more
no,
event space?
no, I'm just trying to see if there's any way to make more space in the current
Can we
zone.
build up on this building and, is that where, you know?
No, I'm wondering if that room is,
and then that room can be like a locker room where they get ready.
if they build up, they need an elevator, right? I'm just trying to
But that doesn't mean
figure
it
out.
can't be done.
Right, when people
Well,
live in their residential homes and they're not that old.
You need an elevator.
Just trying to take every kind of angle at it before I say, you know what, I think it's time that we, to build like a bigger station. But you can't have meetings outside of the fire station. Like, you couldn't have a meeting here,
Why?
and I don't know, I'm asking.
Oh, they should,
Training is
Doing
not
that.
gonna be.
In business week, you guys are doing inventory before, at the start of the meeting, and then they go into the
So it'd
meeting.
be a lot of back and forth if we kinda try to do something with that area right there. Well, it would get some of that equipment out,
Well,
other stuff out of there.
how about, I mean, is there an opportunity to bring the building out where the 5 garage doors are, to build that out so it's even with the addition? Well, yeah, but we are with the addition, correct? I mean, if you go, Maggie, if you go to that front, the first page.
You can't start that, in front of the building without the.
Almost all of them, I bet.
The first, engine 11, I gotta,
Okay. But the ones where it is built out, those are just shorter trucks then?
Well, I'm just thinking, what about
I'm
if you
confused.
build up? Right, and that opens up the meeting room to, your current meeting room to be, when your decontamination stuff is, and you can go with your things and get your gear on and things like that. That would take all of that out of the station part. And that would have to save a lot more room. Well, that's what I'm thinking, you build up. You put a, you have 2 stories, you put on the second story, you can have your storage in with that stuff. You can have an office, you can have a meeting room up there. You can put a whole second story over the whole building.
None of them are going. Wish we would have got the one that Brad had.
I think there's a lot of options we should look at, and we'll have to figure out what is the best option.
Well, I think that's why I like these brainstorms, because not all these ideas might not work, but we have to go through and do the exercise and
Right,
say we've
right.
exhausted everything. I mean, we just owe that to the residents, so and that's what we're here for. So I think throwing these things out there are a good idea. I mean, it should be.
I just kinda feel that
Maggie, can you still go to the first one, please?
once you start building up, you're probably gonna have to bring the rest of the building, update it, bring it up to code, blah, blah, blah.
So there on the
Probably
first
gonna cost
two,
you as much as what it would cost just to put,
on those first 2 bays, those trucks then don't go on the road when they pull out? So what if,
Rescue 11 probably doesn't.
so why not all the other ones?
Rescue
What's,
11,
we don't want, that's why I'm just confused.
some of them stay in the station.
Well, if that's happening now with that addition, what if the entire building was that?
Well, if you go down to the station right now, you won't have it sitting out in the street, it's raining, and you want, so load up, dump it out, and park it,
Oh, okay, so they pull it around and park it in there. So what if it didn't come all the way, what if it just came out 3 feet? And gained 3 feet depth? Yeah. Take that wall and just build it out add 3 feet onto it. Well, 3 feet gives you 3 feet. I mean, either way. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. That's their recommendation, not that we
Yeah.
need it. I mean, that's the recommendation. So I'm not looking to get it right up to exactly how this. I'm just trying to, how do we gain right now? Do we gain is it worth it 2 feet? Now, it may come out to be, oh gosh, that'd be $1 million. No, it's probably not worth adding 2 feet, but.
But is it even worth the investment to have something that's not even recommended yet? We're still not up to what
Well, I
we
don't
need to
know if
recommend.
we have to get up to everything. I mean, some of our recommendations would be in an ideal world, that if you're building a new property, this is what they recommend.
Right. but if you're gonna throw money at it.
Not only the clean trucks and the round trucks, I'm seeing more of the issues with the building itself, with compliance, up to code, so to speak. One of those ones is that issue.
I think a lot of that would probably be resolved if we had more space. But that's just what we're trying to figure out, do we build it up, do we buy a lot, or do we
We have a lot.
yeah, but build a new building. Yeah, and we bump out the current building, we go up and start building a new building.
Buildings built, designed for how it is right now, or as so then you gotta redo it pretty much from scratch.
And there's code issues,
Yeah.
changes.
So it
Yeah, that's
ended
kinda
up
what I was
being-
saying before, once you start and you dig into something old, you got,
It's never ending, and then it ends up being maybe a little bit less, but not.
Those are the things we need to know versus
Yeah.
Right.
make those assumptions.
It's gonna cost like $3 million just to add on the second floor, it's obviously more than now, to buy it. To go with brand new.
my other thing about this location up here is that it really isn't a great spot. There's 30 cars rushing in, they are running across Highway 25, 'cause there is nowhere to park. And if the neighbor has some friends over, there goes all of the fire department's parking, you know, on that little bump in that we did. They're either running all the way down the street or they're crossing 25. And, you know, we have almost 30 people, don't we?
And they train and use lumber yards for about a year.
No, they don't count. I mean, they can't all come to
Yeah,
meet
so
to the
having a bigger
fire.
parking lot with hydrants and everything out there, you can do all your training stuff.
No, I get that. I mean, you'd like to have inside to be able to do your ladder training.
Yeah.
And I pulled up that brochure, I mean, they list a lot, I mean, it's a 150-page booklet, you know, and they show a lot of that stuff. It'd be great to have ladder training inside your building. I mean, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question that we need it. My question is, can we afford it? What's this gonna cost? Because, you know, we aren't to capacity on in our business district, in our residential areas, and, you know, we're
Are
already
we
paying
putting
for a
money-
waste treatment plant that,
Are we putting
Bigger
money
than
into
we
a building in our budgeting at all every year? We're not putting, so we don't have a building,
They had said back in 2009, it was supposed to be happening.
well, it should have happened back in 1985, but, we don't have any building fund right now. We have no money saved for a building. None.
well,
Well, and that should be no different than any of our other funds that we have. We should be, you know, we should be planning ahead for new public works buildings, new fire stations, those things.
that's up to council too, and
Right.
each council is different, and some of them agree with saving for the future, and some of them don't, and we always have that issue, and that's probably what you're talking about, as to why we didn't, you know, levy or
you
put the money.
bond for it, you know,
Yeah.
have the future citizens pay for it as well
Or
as
do we have to start
past
paying for it
citizens,
now?
so I
Yeah.
mean, that's always a
Seems to be,
discussion.
yeah.
Where's that money coming from? So.
Yeah.
I think this information that you've got now, we need a long time ago. I mean, it's just, you're building your case. There's issues with the fire station, absolutely. You know, and there's big life safety issues in the building, especially the cascade system. You're putting the firefighters at risk by, you know, look at the walls, and it was noted in the report that the walls are stained with soot, right in the area where you're filling air. That's a problem. This is the information that the council really needs.
Has the fire department ever done any kind of fundraiser
primary funding for the department?
Well, that, well,
A
yeah,
lot of fish.
but, I know, but I meant specifically for the building.
Where does the fish fry money go?
Yeah, we've done it before.
Where does the fish fry money go?
Where does it go? Part of the engine,
So it might go into a truck fund,
They used
Okay.
quite a bit for the last truck, if I remember right.
I'm just wondering if maybe, getting a specific fundraiser, specifically for the building fund. As, and that can help kind of kick in, I mean, just so it's not all on city council, that people can donate money here and there, and,
I think that money can go to, the money that's raised probably goes to better things right now. What do you think? Equipment needs and.
I'm just saying there's some, other grants out there?
we send out calendars, always asking for donations, so if we get out of the, we probably get, maybe 500.
Other grants out there? So just know that, there are, I know there's been towns that have done using fundraisers for fire stations, for parks, word gets around, and it's not just that one community, but it's also another community starts pitching in, helping in, or getting money for donations in honor of, themselves, and so, I mean, it's I just throwing it out there because it's something, so, maybe we get, maybe the fire department gets, I'm just throwing out a number, $30,000, so that's $30,000, less charge we have to throw in for tax. Just an idea.
Has it changed?
Heard.
Has it
It
changed?
might kickstart something, if nothing else, it might kickstart support from the community.
Absolutely. I mean, I've heard some people hear about it, because some young kids about it.
Isn't there like, when we first were talking about it, do you have to bond that if it's a certain amount, dollar amount? Did you have to put it on the, like a referendum, like a school does? I think a certain amount of money, I swear that was part of our, I don't know.
I don't think you have to. Sometimes they choose to, we've chosen to do that, but I don't think you have to.
Well, I just don't think, like Stacy mentioned, that was eye-opening, we won't see all this stuff.
And we've been there before.
Right, but I don't think the general public understands where the fire department is at. I think that, I would say just assume that you guys only do 3 calls a year, and, I think that's the general census that the community has. And I don't think that they think that there's a danger that
So maybe, like at the next open house, try to raise money and then have it, as the kids are going through, have them try to put on the gear, the cheap with spaces.
I don't know how much, I don't know exactly what it is, I don't think we turn out for the open house either. I'm trying to think of ways to get the community on board to understand
It's
where the
needed.
fire department is at.
Or to accept that.
Right, not that it's just like
Well, and that's
But some of that, they don't
kind
have
of
to.
up to us.
Some of that, that's our responsibility, that's why we're elected to represent them, and as long as we have all this that we can relay on to them, I mean, it's not 100% they have to, I mean, that's what we're here for, to make those decisions for them.
Yep.
Right.
get like this report, this information out to the public, already? Put it on our website, put it on the fire department website,
I mean,
not that people are,
Yeah,
they're
and
involved, but.
Well, this whole report could be posted on the mayor, fire Facebook page and. But how about going through, what's our steps on this? I mean, should we start looking through these items one by one and see what it would take to, some of them may be easy enough, some maybe not. I mean, I don't know, I can obviously paint the walls and take care of some of that. Do we need to do anything now? I'm kinda looking for maybe Ron and Maggie work through that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we need to do with this is, sit down, I know, I think that's what we really need to, I think it's talk to Ron to say, what can be done, what would be the cost to us to save these buildings? And what would be the cost to us to save these buildings? Like, it's kinda like, okay, we didn't even, we're stuck, kind of throwing this in the water, like, give this information for, how we get this building safe, and everything like that, and how much that will cost versus building a facility. And some of those items, I don't think we're gonna be able to fix, and
Nothing's 100% safe. I'm looking to make improvements versus
Right.
calling it a safe building. We just wanna make some improvements. But, I mean, true. Oh, absolutely.
And some of what we're talking about here doesn't take an architect for us to realize that it is not gonna solve the issue of space. There's only so much room on that lot.
Right.
Whether you go up or whatever, there's only so much room on that lot, and that's, to me, that's one of a big issue as well.
And do we still, and I know I asked this, do we still need all that apparatus in there? There's nothing that can come out? Everything gets used frequently? The DNR, that old DNR truck gets used?
Would you see clear tomorrow?
Right, but doesn't get used in the middle of winter.
No. It could, I mean, they're four-wheel drive.
The hump, yeah.
But we,
The other one, what?
we looked about, you know, you look at some of that though too, and that, yeah, it makes a little empty hole there, but it doesn't help the space issue, because those big trucks have to go in those stalls, and that's right where some other stuff, it just, yeah, cause I've
Yeah.
said that many times too, well, can't we
But-
move something out for the winter and put it back in the summer, whatever, but
But that could maybe build a room where we could fill tanks and make those, and resolve some of the other concerns.
But then it's gotta get moved back in there in the summer, and then what do you do, you know?
Or does it? Does it?
Well, if it's a grass rig and you want it to get out to where it's going
Do we-
fast, you don't want them to
do
run
we-
to wherever we're
With
storing it.
mutual aid, do we need to?
Yeah, that big
Do
truck.
we have to have two of them? If, Waconia will be there, and New Germany will be there, and Watertown will be there. Is it necessary? You know, those are,
I don't
those are things.
understand the
I think
trucks
it's
and
a
what
bad-
they
it's a
do.
value
It was
argument.
very confusing that night. Zach tried a couple times, and I think he explained it like 3 or 4 times, and I still don't know the trucks and what they do. So, are they all necessary in there? I don't know.
Well, we gotta
Do
have
we
tanker
need
trucks,
to?
'cause we're out in the township. You know, but that being said,
Do we need that many?
that's with mutual aid too. That's a fair question, I think.
I don't know.
But, I mean, so, get rid of one tanker, you're still not solving your space problem, right?
On those trucks that we need. Yeah.
Right, but freeing out stuff is are the hose things maybe moved, and that adds a little, so it's redesigning things too, and all. I understand the depth thing is, those walls aren't gonna change, and that's the way it is, but that's the way it's always been also. This isn't anything new.
How do we answer the question, do we need every single truck in there? Do every single fire department say they need every single truck?
And I don't even think,
Curious,
I don't even think that's
No.
I'm just curious, I'm trying to get a fireman's perspective here, 'cause I have not that.
I'm not that, it's my responsibility. My responsibility. If I was there or not there, it's still my responsibility and who's gonna come to. You have no quarters, who is uncovered, anything that's gonna happen, you need to come down, Bush is gonna see that.
Didn't have the equipment that you needed.
You're not
Got
the
rid
only,
of
you're
it.
not the only one that's gonna be on in that loop of trouble. That's, everybody's sitting at this table here. Because you came up with information explaining that there's deficiencies.
I'm trying to get a good round picture of the whole thing.
I don't even.
I know what you're
I
saying.
don't even think I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you ask me if we need all those I'm not necessarily saying we don't. I'm asking, do we? But I could ask the other question, do you think we should have 3 grass rigs then? Why stop at 2? Why not have 3? You might say, yeah, hell yeah, we should have 3. Let's have 4. Let's have 5. I mean, somewhere you gotta, balance that, right? I mean, from your perspective,
Evaluate each
more might be better.
purpose.
I'm not necessarily saying we don't need to. I'm asking, those are the questions that gets talked about as this kind of thing. Is it truly needed now because along with the changes, mutual aid has changed a lot lately. And
No, I've seen the architect drawings at the station, you had 2 different ones, 2 options. Is there a way to get those recent, that's the only time I've seen on the So I can, in my head, I can compare what we have right now versus what the 2 done.
Rod, do you think there's anything we can do with the station that we have to address some of this stuff? So can we at least move, try to figure out what that would cost? And to put that in there, and, I don't know. I just feel like we should do something. We shouldn't know all this and not do anything. And that's one of the biggest concerns, and I think we need to go with that.
Acceptable with what we have right now.
With big purchases like this, it's not like you have to come up with $3.5 million tomorrow. You bond for it, right? Would this be like a bond thing? Where you bond and then you have, like buying a house, you have like a 15 or 30-year payment plan, and so the tax burden is technically on for future residents too, just like when we built the sewer plant and the water plant. I think we're still paying on those, right? But they're coming due. So the tax burden isn't necessarily all like, you have to pay over $3.5 million a day.
No, but
No, I mean, it's a big investment, I mean.
We see how much just $100,000 in the levy affects our taxes, so. And according to what we just heard tonight, taxes are going up just based on market value. Interest rates need to be considered too. They might start popping up, so.
They are, Bob.
They are.
They are.
There's no light about that.
So,
Yeah, I
But
think
we have
educating-
good bond ratings.
Educating the public is also a good idea, maybe you do something at,
the Rising Community Festival, which is in just a couple days, they don't got time to.
Well, I mean, just maybe they have it stand there and just say, you know, have some of this information out.
What do you think of this?
This is what our fire department's facing right now.
Yeah, sure.
Or this is how many calls we've taken on average in 2017 versus two thousand and eighteen. And just, if nothing else, having a couple guys or gals out there just educating and start spreading the word.
Well, I think whoever's running your Facebook page, first of all, is doing a really good job. And I think that's a great way to reach a lot of people. So if they wanna start getting some of this, I don't know about this particular information, but just some facts out there, you know? Oh, look at this picture. This is a picture of how much room this is a picture of our bathroom. It's atrocious. This is where we have to have meetings and clean up after something or, yeah. I mean, it's a challenge there. It really is. So maybe just getting something that out to the public.
It's also important because then the questions are being asked and,
I think that's a great idea to get some poster boards together or things, even if they're at the fish fries, a little table at the fish fries and even if they were unmanned and just pictures and poster boards where people can just walk up and look at them themselves, it'll start generating discussion and, you know.
Is there a reason why we wouldn't post this whole safety report?
I mean, it's already out there in our documents, but.
I don't know if we, I don't know. It's certainly
there's
public
also a lot of
knowledge.
information that I'm not everybody's gonna be reading that maybe some folks people be on different
I think the fire department will read it.
them. So,
I said I think the fire department will read it, all the guys, and they.
well, I would assume that right.
Oh, they would.
Fire department. Has them already.
But the way to get people to realize, what you guys are up against there, what's going on.
And then you just put something on the Facebook too, if they recently had an audit done and, a couple bullet points. And you put the whole thing, most people don't read those things, that's all you put. Just to get the word out there and get support for the project.
It's better to ease people into it than just say, oh, yeah, at our last meeting, we decided to get in the fire station. And it's not like people don't know that it's been getting talked about, like, for a long time. It's been getting talked about, well, ever since I've been in it. And not just since I was on council, before that. Yes.
Yeah, that certainly would.
When you're buying a house, you're doing that mortgage analysis, like how much
Right.
you're gonna put down.
So,
And is this something that the townships pitch in on, or no? Because it's our building and we would own it and it's our asset, they won't, okay.
We don't wanna get into this,
Yeah, right, yep. And that's what I assumed was the answer, but, okay. we've already bought the property, we own the property, we should own the building.
And I guess we can look at the leasing option, I tend not to like it,
So some of that, I think we have to have further discussions on a fire station. I mean, but some of this initial stuff, I'd like you guys to sit down and see what should be addressed, or maybe just can't be right now. We've thought through it, there's not a lot we can do. Back to your slip, you know, in the winter, if a lot of snow's dragging in, maybe we buy a bunch of those step sandpaper thing that goes on the floor, or what. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I just think they end up costing you so much more than,
I mean, we can also see the building and what would it look like to bond it?
Whatever's,
What would it look like to lease it?
whatever's financially makes most sense, of course. I mean, I think we would all pick the one that makes the most sense, but, I think we can bond easy enough and get the money ourselves to do it if we have to, versus adding in all this extra cost just to lease some, you know. Pardon?
that's just the thing.
Well, bonding would be just as cheap. And what was that, 85? Is that 85 the addition? All right, anything more on this?
Do we still own anything in the fire station?
And that's something to factor in too, what's that worth? What are we gonna do with that? I mean, if that gets sold off to someone, or there's some value to that, that helps compensate some of the other stuff too, so. All right. Anything more than specifically with this, with the reports, anything else? All right, yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming in, Ron.
Good job on the report.
And again, I don't wanna downplay, you guys have done a hell of a job I mean, and they've even commented how clean it is. I've noticed that every time I'm down, you guys have done a great job with what you have, so I don't wanna downplay that either. Work with Maggie and see what, on any of these items, what can be done.
See if, if that's something that's doable, we need to get a cost on it.
That's the one that jumped out at me the
Maybe
most
move
as
forward.
as one that I think we should really look into taking care of and doing something. Great. It's a national. Perfect, good, yeah, send that out. Good, yep. Perfect, good. Yep. All right, thanks, Rod.
Were we able to get the family to both of those events?
Emily's coming,
right, tower lease proposal.
We just wanted to give an update on, we did end up contacting the attorney again on the tower lease, that we discussed at the June 26th work session. Just a little background, that, they were wanting to extend the lease like 6.5 years, maybe to 30, and then, they would also and I think at that time we decided, that proposal and we said no at the time. So then, at the beginning of July, we did back, and, offered a new proposal, extending it, it would be a 20-year term, so it would be 4 or 5 instead of 30 years. And they upped the signing bonus to 35,000, so they So, that's kind of what they're proposing now, to either accept the offer, I'm not sure so we're just kind of, looking for some further, discussion on this. I think, talking to the tenant, we kind of decided that, we did, I mean, obviously there's more favorable than the last one. We could keep negotiating the open listed, going back and forth, but we did feel that, there's never really any, we should know what will happen, so, I guess we're looking, we both felt like this could be more of a fair,
Do the increases start immediately?
They would start, okay, so we get the signing bonus and then,
Right away.
yeah, we get the bonus right away and then the increases, I believe, are for, I think we get increased right now every 5 years. And so that would be, that would be every 5 years, so.
Or would it start?
In 2034.
Well,
That's
there's,
kinda
yeah,
what
when
Then
there's,
who,
oh wait,
then it's not really our problem.
So,
yeah, so it would start, like, right now, our current lease says that every 5 years we get an increase. So I would assume that we would continue to get that increase every 5 years. Yeah, so I think that 5-year increase, I would just be,
And how much are we making a year? How much, 20,000 a year?
it's a little more than that. We get
25, 30, somewhere in there, 30? For me, I would just as soon do nothing. For $30,000 a year to tie this up for another 20, I mean, we still have 16 years, maybe in another 10, we can make those decisions to one extent. I'm not overly concerned, I mean, yeah, getting a $35,000 signing bonus, that's still $35,000, but in the grand scheme, to have that tied up for that long, I don't see a need to do anything right now. And again, I don't wanna downplay $30,000 a year that we're getting, but it's not that much to have that land tied up and committed for that long.
Well, it's not really that much land though either, is it?
No,
Yeah, it's kind of like, one of the things we talked about is, what are we thinking is happening here? Do you think we're gonna have significant change in this area? I mean, I know Tim said he would definitely include a situation like, if there would be something in there that would say if we did change the use of this area, then there would be a way out. And I think if that goes both ways, if the city, the landlord,
Mhm.
feel that they don't need to use it and that they have the opportunity to pull out, then we also would not be able to do it.
So some of those things would be an advantage to get, ahead of the 2034, you know.
Yeah, and I know, I think like they're wanting to have it because they
for them to get tenants, yeah.
I know, I think, and I can confirm with him, I think they did, he did have somebody to do it. I think there was somebody, I think we had somebody who did that at both meetings that, we saw everything pretty well, and I think they said, and I can confirm with him, that this was pretty good, it's probably not gonna get much better than this, but confirm that, but we can, I think they also said we can see if they're well, they're really interested in that they're use that on site. We could always say no, not now, we can do something.
I'm curious to know when the increases start. Is it gonna start before the 2034? If not, it just doesn't even make sense to do it.
So when you say,
Well, the monthly rent would increase, so when does that start?
That's based on what they're bringing in, isn't it? I thought the monthly,
I can throw the memo like what they start payments, but I know it increases every 2 years. So what they, I don't think it's based on what they're bringing in, I think it's, like, we get a set amount from, for per year, and then based on the tenants that they hear, I think we get a reference amount. We have like two modules that we deal with it from, I think it's 10. So I think that one is less, but I know it's saying, I think the one with the ten or American Power is just changed what it was. That was,
So would you write in here, the planning board has considered the amended offer template to the property funding for the large amount of the slot extension.
that's just for the 20 years. So we get, that's
So
just
we're
kind of
gonna-
to show you the, like that, because,
So with the $35,000, that's what we would get.
so, no, they, I don't know why he worded it that way. So what it means is that he wanted to kind of show originally that the signing bonus for the extra 30 years would be approximately $600. So in reality,
20
you get
years.
that money right away. So I think what he was showing you now is that if it's 20 years, it's, 35,000 dollars. So I think he was just trying to show you kind of what it was going to do if you break it down. But really, we get that money right away.
yeah, trying to show what the renegotiation, what the benefit was. So maybe we just get more information and next month bring it back, work session, and look at it again with some of the new information. And determine that we don't have to do anything in the next
Yeah, I think this is
month or,
more, yeah, I mean, we don't have to do anything. This is more,
let's get more of the information on some of the specifics of what we're getting from it. All right, any other items?
Just one thing. So in your, weekly update, you mentioned that you're going to Europe. And I have a lot of questions about how that's gonna work as far as working overseas, security. Are you bringing your laptop, our laptop? I mean, because we've never had this before. I don't know if it's a vacation, I don't.
It was, so, I mean, so, I think that's the last thing, like, there was a 2 week gap, and so there wasn't a company, like, came up quickly, and so I wanted to make sure that, I guess my thought was that I would work a little bit, trying to make sure that the tax got it before the next one, because there is a meeting at that time, and so, I thought, I mean, I don't have all the
Well, if you're on vacation, you're on vacation.
Right.
You can work, get everything set up with, and whoever else is here, and get stuff rolling, and you can go enjoy your vacation. You have vacation time, use it.
Yeah,
I mean, I-
and I'm coming back, I mean, I can come in Saturday and do, when I get back and finalize it.
Is it a 2-week? I can't remember exactly how many.
I'm gonna be gone for, I'm gonna be here half the day on first, and then I'll be back on
10 days.
You're on vacation. We got good staff here that can take care of whatever we need to take care of.
Kyle will do the agenda, get all the documents and papers.
I can definitely do that. I can work with Janelle to kind of put out an email to everybody. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Do you have enough PTO built up for it? I'm just curious, if you're just like taking, unpaid time, or if you have.
No, I have enough time. I think in my contract, so yeah.
I guess for a lot of reasons, I wouldn't work while you're on vacation. And I didn't know what kind of documents you would be accessing, what kind of work you were talking about, and so then I'm like.
I was hoping, I mean, I guess my one hope was that when I did schedule it, when I had the thought of it a while, I thought we would have that was my wish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that August, you said?
I mean, I think if you want to, you can call. I just wouldn't do anything with other people's servers, other people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We're going to Europe June, July next year.
Good for you.
If you're listening, I will not be working.
Yeah, and that rolls into some of the coverage on the public works
Yeah.
employee too. Plan that, as we narrow down how we're gonna schedule interviews and stuff.
Right,
Oh.
well, my
So-
goal with the interviews is, I mean, and I put that out there with Kyle, but we were hoping everything.
But just factor some of that in.
Yeah, no, I was hoping to get that wrapped up before.
Okay. All right, we are adjourned.